Hi everyone, Toothany Close Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new Skrillex album, Don't Get Too Close. Producer, songwriter, DJ Sonny Moore, aka Skrillex, he is back. This man's meteoric rise in the world of electronic music in the early 2010s was surprising, well documented, and also heavily polarizing, even today. I still feel like that Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites era was much too overhated. Bangarang had some monster tracks on it that absolutely deserve critical reassessment and respect, but sadly I never really got into the much more pop-centric full-length commercial albums that Skrillex put his name to, and I was kind of hoping for a change of pace in this new album cycle for him. As it's been almost 10 years since the extremely underwhelming Recess, this year Skrillex has seen fit to drop 2 new albums back to back. This is just one of them and will be the one I'm focusing on in this review. Plus, at this point, I feel like any potential pressure for him to adhere to a certain sound or trend or style is long gone at this point, as that whole bro step wave he helped usher in has pretty much vaporized. And even though that gives Sonny the opportunity to try something new here, the question is, will he? Because while I would say this project sounds different for him, it's not really a refreshing sound in the grander scheme of things. Given how trendy much of the production is, how flavor of the month a lot of the guest features are, along with the ooh ooh I'm so cute but also destructive and I could cut you bloody album art thing going on here. But yeah, right from the intro track, this thing is pretty disappointing. Yeah, in this intro, the vocals are way too hideously overprocessed to sound as moving, as inspiring, or as epic as I think Skrillex wants them to sound. But let's move on to a full song on the track Way Back, featuring Trippie Redd and Pink Panther S. And while the cute peppy rhythms and super smooth synths I think are a great fit for her vibe, her aesthetic, it's Trippie Redd who sounds like the sore thumb in the track, because a lot of his vocal inflections don't really fit the song at all and sound kind of goofy and out of place. Way back! And look, it's not that I think Trippie Redd is generally a bad singer, even though he does have his off days. It's just not a very complimentary combo of vibes. In terms of vocal style and production, I think Selecta featuring Beam is a much better fit, but for this song, the vocal and beat combo going on here, is this not pretty dime a dozen these days? Could you not catch this track or a dozen variations like it at any number of after-party raves across America on any given weekend? It's on tracks like this that I think Skrillex is slowly becoming anonymous on his own record. Now, I guess one of the few legitimate surprises on this LP is the next few cuts have features from Blade and Young Lean on them. We're going full Drain Gang on the LP at this point. And I definitely give Sonny props for doing his best to complement the respective vibes of Lean and Blade on these 2 tracks. I think he does just enough for their vocals to sound comfortable, but ultimately I just feel like I'm listening to a neutered and more dolled up version of something I would hear on a Lean or a Blade record. And frankly, given my familiarity with these 2 artists and my preferences for certain songs in their catalogs, I think I would much rather just kind of hear this at the source. Following this, we have the song Summertime featuring Kid Cudi, where he can be heard vocally riffing over what sounds like, I guess, a very upbeat psychedelic trap instrumental with some acoustic guitars in the mix. Very feel good, very blissful, though I don't really care for how Sonny treats Cudi's vocals at a few points in the song. He just sort of washes them out with so much effects you can't really tell what he's doing. You can barely tell that it's him. I would say Sway Lee's vocals are treated roughly the same way on his feature deeper into this LP, except way worse. But to get back to the track, given the way Cudi's vocalizations and lyrics are, the state of them on this track, the whole performance, the feature feels pretty phoned in. Plus, given the very short song structure of the track, it's clear Skrillex isn't really writing his most robust stuff here either. Thus far, I feel like this record's just delivering wallpaper ditties. But then from here, the record takes a nosedive because we have the song Bad For Me with Corbin and also Chief Keef, not a combination I was ever expecting to hear on the same song. And I guess the reason why is how horrible this track goes over. First off, is this Corbin's voice on the front end? Why does his singing sound like the vocal you hear out of those like Diddy app text-to-song memes. And, like, the quality of the lyricism isn't that much better than what you would hear in one of those memes, too. Plus, this has to be in the top 3 of the worst key features of all time. The meow meow part? What is going on? On 3 AM, the kids chorus laced into this track is pretty cute, but I feel like this track is pretty much squandered potential personified. Like, we're really no longer hearing what artistically made Skrillex so interesting in the first place, which was that polarizing, sure, but at this point, all we're getting is basic sugar-coated hypertrap, and like, there's a lot of that out there already, and done much better, mind you. This, in comparison, just feels so faceless. The title track is a cringe ballad over what sounds like the low-budget music bed to an ocean life documentary. Deeper into the track, we have a vocal contribution from Bibi Borelli, who I guess is kind of going back into her adolescence a little bit here, narratively, but the singing is ass, and the performance is so slapped together and haphazard, I wonder why they released it. It's kind of embarrassing. I'm making songs with my friends in the garage. My mom thinks I'm depressed. She hates me. It hurts. It burns. It's cringe, and the whole track ends in this weirdly Phil Collinsy type of way that I can't stand. Thankfully, the closing track, which also features Bibi, has a much better vocal performance to it and tune, but even with this cut being pretty punchy and halfway decent, it's too little too late. Like, this album stinks. It has no direction, no standout production, very little in the way of standout features, no standout tunes or songs, no standout beats, and when it does grab my attention, it's because I'm hearing something I wish I wasn't. Now, I heard going into this that this was the worst of the 2 albums that Skrillex just put out. I suppose a bit of a spoiler there, and I bring that up just to say, Lord, I hope so, because if the other record is worse than this, I'm going to go psychotic. I'm feeling a light to decent 3 on this one. Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Skrillex, forever.